The program you are about to see is part of a Cal State Fullerton President's Symposium, where we offered a forum to some of the nation's leading voices on the important and pressing issues impacting and challenging public higher education and our broader communities. We hope you enjoy the program and trust it will provide valuable insights about the important issues, impacts, and challenges facing us today. At Cal State Fullerton, our daily mission is education and knowledge creation. We're committed to being a leader in creating the future of higher education.
Good afternoon, and thank you for those very flattering comments about HACU and my own role in it. And I appreciate the invitation to be part of the proceedings. Dr. Hagan, thank you very much for organizing this outstanding symposium. I wanted to obviously commend you because of the high caliber of the presenters and the audience, of course, here, who I have been very impressed by their questions and insights. And so, to me, this is especially important because this is an institution that we have the highest respect for as an association. So I want to thank you, President Hagan, for inviting me to be part of this program. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to provide a comment about the presentations and the information that we have heard and considered today. I must, in the interest of transparency, say that actually most of the comments that I'm about to share with you were prepared for me by the President's office. I did some editing. So if you kind of disagree with some of what I have to say or don't like it, maybe the President's office has something to do with that. But if you like it, maybe my editing did something for the comments that I'm going to make. But before I discuss perspectives on inequality, let me say that I'm very pleased to be able to make my comments at this institution, at Cal State Fullerton, because when it comes to commitment to confront, cope with, and begin to ameliorate the inequalities of today, this university stands out. Consider the facts. The respected Washington, D.C. higher education policy and research institution, the Education Trust, has designated Cal State Fullerton as one of just 5 institutions in the United States that is, 1, a national leader in price, 2, in quality, 3, in accessibility, and 4, in serving low-income students well. Cal State Fullerton ranks 9th in the nation in terms of baccalaureate degrees awarded to minority students. And this university ranks #1 in California and 4th in the nation in awarding bachelor's degrees to Hispanics. It is hard to think of a stronger or more successful university at which to speak about confronting inequality, especially in higher education, and particularly in terms of ensuring first-rate service to students of color who, as we know, have been less well served throughout most of this nation's history. I congratulate Cal State Fullerton for its record of service and success and for sponsoring this impressive symposium. And let me say, as further evidence of the importance of this university and the emphasis that it places on serving the students of color generally and Hispanics in particular, your President Emeritus, Dr. Milton Gordon, served 2 terms as chair of the HACU governing board during his distinguished career here. We are grateful for his outstanding leadership. May I ask Dr. Gordon to stand and let us recognize Dr. Milton D. Gordon, A. Gordon, for his service to HACU to the high goal of confronting inequality. He's here in the audience. Please, Mil. Thank you so much. Now, let me turn to the business at hand. At HACU, we confront the consequences of inequality as visited upon people of color and in particular upon Hispanics. We have well-defined strategies for confronting inequality. In fact, let me frame my remarks using those strategies. First, an overall HACU strategy is to promote the development of member colleges and universities, which is the group of colleges and universities that are Hispanic serving and that are committed to Hispanic higher education. More particularly, we seek to improve access to and equality of post-secondary educational opportunities for Hispanic students. As today's symposium, Susan Dynarsky described trends in college entrance, persistence, and success in achieving a degree, contrasting impressively over time the outcomes for students from low-income and from high-income families. Unsurprisingly, students from higher-income families do better. More remarkable are the sizes of the differences she identifies and the disheartening trends. We know that when students from low family incomes are compared to students from high family incomes, students of color, very much to include Hispanic students, are clustered disproportionately among the low family income group. These students need our attention and our sustained support. An important pathway for this to improve the capacity is to improve the capacity and the quality of HACU institutions. Professor Dynarsky and colleagues and friends, HACU stands with you in the quest, first, to understand very well, and second, to ameliorate the poor outcomes that inequality generates. I believe that building up the institutions that have a history of successfully serving Hispanics is a sound strategy that should be adopted by policymakers nationally, state, and local. And that brings me to the second of HACU's strategies, advocacy. If we are going to confront inequality and to ameliorate its effects, my own view is that government at all levels has a role to play. In this, I'm well in accord with the views and prescriptions offered by leading voices in academia, like Martin Gillens and Thomas Byrne Edsall. Professor Gillens argues, among other things, that when policy preferences of economic elites diverge from the policy preferences of lower income populations in the United States, the preferences of the economic elites prevail. Now, look, neither Professor Gillens nor the rest of us are shocked. Shocked to discover that the rich have influence. The problem, of course, is that the virtual shutout of the preferences of lower income populations, even where those preferences are embraced by what should be electorally significant numbers, majorities, or evident partners in majority electoral coalitions. I'm also struck by Professor Gillens' analysis of the association between gridlock and the preferences of economic elites. So gridlock favors elites. Well, HACU can end gridlock in Capitol Hill, nor in Sacramento, where we have a HACU regional advocacy office, nor can HACU alone, via advocacy, ensure policy outcomes that sustain America's future exactly by paving a highway to success for low-income, often Hispanic students and their families. But HACU does and will continue to push fair policies. And HACU does and will continue to remind policymakers that a strong American future depends ultimately on developing and deploying the talents of all our people. And yes, the development and deployment may very well require measures of government intervention that lessen inequality. I know the presenters like Thomas Byrne Edsall have shown us that inequality is excessive, profound, and increasing over the decades of my own adult life. And echoing now symposium presenter Sheldon Denzinger, as well as Professor Etzel, the coming election and the one after that, in my humble opinion, will be as much a clash between competing economic theories as between competing parties. My own view is that we Americans should embrace a narrative that emphasizes a need to ameliorate inequality through thoughtful governmental policy. And that brings me to HACU's third strategy, awareness. HACU's conferences and special events each year provide vital platforms for information, collaboration, and recognition, which are the necessary stepping stones for advocacy. We also have a number of media outlets that we utilize to inform public opinion, particularly policymakers, with respect to our legislative priorities. We seek to make it clear to any who will take notice that the social, cultural, and economic success of this great nation depends now and profoundly will depend in decades to come on the success of people in the bottom half of the income distribution, including most Hispanics. In closing, I pledge to you that HACU will continue its strategic directions and priorities, promoting the strength and success of member Hispanic-serving colleges and universities, advocating for policies that benefit America by benefiting Hispanics and others in the bottom 90%, and promoting awareness for the critical nexus between America's future, its future success, and the future success of Hispanic and other students of colors, and a modest economic backgrounds as well. I challenge you to join HACU in this very important effort. America can only do better if we all join in building a stronger future. Thank you.